It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Weatherman in Florida, right outside of Orlando, had what I guess weathermen sit around and dream about.
Do they, or do they have nightmares about it?
I think this is the weatherman's dream. His name is Brooks Garner, and he was on the air live yesterday as the weather was getting a little bleak. And boy, did it take a weird, unexpected turn. This is Brooks Garner on the air in Florida yesterday.
This is a look at the live camera of a tornado, which could be passing by our station right now. Take shelter. Everybody in the Fox 35 building, get to your safe space. We're catching debris right now on the roof. We're hearing, you can see the debris flying there on the camera. This is a tornado. Seek shelter immediately. Get under your desks, guys. Anchors under the desks. Okay, we got power flickering out. This is a confirmed tornado. Okay. I've been doing this for a very long time. That's the first time a tornado has hit while I'm doing the weather.
Okay, take shelter. Get to your safe space. Okay, get under your desk, guys. Anchors under your desks. It's like a school marm giving a tornado drill from the 50s.
Turns into the building safety captain instead of a meteorologist for the whole city of Orlando. Just the safety captain for the people in the building.
I think it would have been fantastic if he'd actually lost his cool. Oh my God! It's coming! They say it was an EF2. The winds were at 115 miles an hour.
That's no joke.
That's no joke at all. Those numbers, you think, oh, it's just an F1. It's a tornado, man.
Yeah.
Spring of, what was it, like late 77, 78. After a spring soccer practice, my brother and I go back up to our school, and it got dark real fast. Big storm comes blowing in, and you just know, like
that green sky.
Yeah, it just gets really, really weird. And we go to the front of the school was a library, and had these giant windows, and you could stand in the window, up on the windowsill, and just be fully, just lean into the glass. Like 7 or 8 feet tall, these windows. Okay. And my brother and I we were side by side, both in a window. And we're looking out because out the front of the school is just a massive field that went on for like a half a mile.
Yeah.
And every time there would be lightning, and then you could see everything for that blink of an eye, and then it would get dark again. And it was great, crazy rolling thunderstorm.
That sounds really cool.
And every time there's lightning, we'd go, whoa. Whoa!
Yeah.
And then the rain sort of slowed down, and then we had that moment where the pressure really changed quickly, and we were like,
uh-oh.
It like all of a sudden everything sounded like this. Like the barometric pressure changes so much, you feel things sound different. Like everything's muted.
Yes.
Like if you clap your hands, it's not like it's just weird in the air. And we looked at each other and we're like, that's weird. And then big flash of lightning, and at the end of the field, there's a tornado, which we saw for a split second while the lightning lit it up, and then it was pitch black again. And we looked at each other, and it was like the Animal House when they realized the horse is dead. We ran going, down the hall. We ran down the hallway to the janitor's closet where we, in the middle of the building, because we had heard a couple people say, hey, go to the janitor's closet, but we were too dumb and we wanted to keep looking at the lightning strikes. And for that brief blast of light, we saw a tornado. And
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was real crazy. And then it was clearly not coming towards us because we didn't hear of it or see anything else from it. But that was a freaky one, man. That'll stay with you.
Was that like pre-tornado sirens or
oh,
any
heck
kind
yeah.
of
Yeah,
warning
this is
system
late
or anything
70s.
like that?
Yeah, the warning system was you licked your finger and held it up in the air and went, oh, some wind coming in from the west here. On the KQRS Facebook page, Nancy wrote, we were at a graduation party in Minneapolis, June of 81. I've heard about this tornado in 81.
This is a very famous tornado.
Yeah.
Yes.
Up on the roof, and we watched debris fly from the Lake Harriet-Roseville tornado. Not the safest place to be during the storm, but the view is incredible. Wait, so from Lake Harriet to Roseville, that's a good little stretch right there.
It is, yeah, and pretty famously touched down on Lake Street.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Man, okay.
Yeah. So generally referred to as the Lake Street tornado.
Yeah,
Before my time, so I don't know a ton about it. But yeah, that was a really crazy one. Then I think there was one maybe 5 years later that was caught on TV. Up in Fridley. I think it was Channel 11 caught it. I remember running to the basement for that one.
Yeah, man, those are there was one, a very famous one. Nationally famous in 2011, hit Tuscaloosa, Alabama. A member of the Crimson Tide football team was killed. And,
oh, no.
Yeah, several people were, but a football player. So in Tuscaloosa, that was a big. But that was also captured live. There was a Birmingham, Alabama is like 60 miles north east of Tuscaloosa. And this tornado left Tuscaloosa heading towards west side of Birmingham. And so they had cameras all turned on building tops. And this was like an F4 or 5, a monster. And it roared right through the west side of Birmingham live. Rosemary and I were watching like CNN or somebody cut to a local channel, and we just watched it because she's from Birmingham.
Yeah.
She has family there.
Oh, no.
And we're watching it, and she's like, oh, my God, that's where Tommy lives. Like, right, they're naming the little towns on the west side of town. Her brother Tommy rode that tornado out in a bathtub on top of his wife and son, and when they got out of the bathroom, they were the only house on their street still standing.
Oh, my goodness.
Crazy. And that tornado went all the way. It went through Alabama, went through Georgia. I think it didn't stop till like South Carolina. It was one of those, just horrible, man.
After the fact, are they like really into tornadoes and want to watch them, or do they have this perpetual fear?
I think they have it's more the perpetual fear.
More the perpetual fear?
And I will say this real quick while we're talking about horrific moments in life. Having been in a major earthquake, I'll take a tornado any day.
Okay.
Because you at least get 20 seconds warning. Earthquake, it just happens.
Man, yeah, I lived in California for 5 years, and that was the one thing that I kind of wanted to just feel the earth rattle.
I said that. I made a point. I said, man, I just want to get a little one. And one of the guys in my band who was from California said, no, you don't. Trust me. You don't. And he goes, no, you like things to make sense. You have too much of a logical approach to things. A tornado's going to mess you up if you ever feel one. And I was like, nah, I'll be fine. And about 4 days later, that bad boy, January 94, it was like a 7-point whatever, Northridge.
That's too big.
Way too big.
Oh.
And he was right. It did not sit well with me. That threw me off for a while. All I kept thinking was, why was I ever afraid of tornado? At least you know it's coming. Earthquake, it's like someone just flips a switch. And the whole world, you're like in a snow globe all of a sudden.
That's crazy.
Not cool at all. Clay just posted on a Facebook page, lost my house to one in May last year with a photo. Clay, I'm sorry, man.
No.
Sincere. I feel terrible about that, dude. That is awful. Tornadoes, here it is.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
We just can't have nice things. It's just that simple. We've run out of nice things, I guess.
We've run out of nice things?
We're taking them away from each other. A flight from Minneapolis, Wednesday, going down to Mazatlan in Mexico, was diverted and forced to land in El Paso.
Oh, bummer. El Paso is not the same as Mazatlan.
It's not. It's very close to Mexico. It's right across the border, but it's not the same at all. This is what happened. The plane took off. It was a Sun Country flight yesterday. Took off about 2:20, and then at about 4:25 it landed in El Paso. Everybody's fine. The plane landed without incident.
Awesome. Yeah.
All the passengers were removed from the plane. They exited safely. They were given overnight accommodation, probably going to make it down to Mazatlan today.
Okay, good. Why did they have to stop in freaking El Paso?
Well, the FBI was combing the airport and the plane after the passengers left. They have not issued an official "this is what happened," but a source familiar with the situation, according to CBS News, says a passenger on the plane sent out a tweet, and it seems to be a valid tweet, that he said this: we're landing in El Paso. Basically, somebody went to the airport, to the bathroom on the plane. So a passenger got up, walked into the bathroom, and found a note left behind by another passenger that threatened everyone on the plane.
A note?
A threatening note.
I feel like it's the 1970s. We're threatening people with notes?
I left a note in the bathroom threatening everyone on the plane. Let's see what happens. Maybe this person just really wanted to get to El Paso and knew they were close. I'm not really sure.
Oh, man.
These type of threats are very rare, and even far more rare are they credible. This is probably just some, what's the word? Douchebag who's bored on a flight.
I've heard that word.
Man. They take the plane to a remote area of the airport to make sure, just blah, blah, blah. And again, everything checked out. There was no threat. This is just somebody. And I guess they don't have CCTV cameras mounted in airplane lavatories. But boy,
I don't know how I feel about that.
I think I know how I feel about it. But I'd love somehow for the whoever came up with this brilliant idea, please just dip them in a vat of boiling something.
And you have a contained number of people that this could be.
That's right.
It's got to be a passenger on the plane.
You would think.
So eventually they're going to figure out who the freak this is. They're going to be in trouble because It's FAA fines. Those are huge.
Huge. First person I'm looking at is the person that found the note, of course. He who smelt it dealt it. The oldest rule in law enforcement, as far as I know.
Is it really?
Just saying. Just saying. If you want to get that note, if you want to put that note in there, or if you want that to happen, if you want to freak everybody out, go write the note yourself. Say you found it. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think this is like a copycat situation? Because obviously that Delta flight that was going to Toronto was such a huge story here, and a lot of people, including this guy, became internet famous.
Everything, drop it.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't take it down. Put that phone away. Holy
Are you trying to be bleep guy? Is that your goal?
God. Yo, I was just on this plane.
Are you trying to be the I was on this plane guy of the trip to Mazatlan?
I want to see a picture of this note. Something tells me it's written in crayon.
You think they cut letters out of magazines? Are we going that old school?
That's old school. Yeah, like you said, leaving a note. It goes right back to a 1970s, Friday night mystery on ABC.
Yeah. Leaving the note.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Joining us on the horn right now, a gentleman from the world of sports who has risen from the ashes more times than probably he can remember. Still able to broadcast in most of the 50 U.S. states. Chet Waterhouse is on the horn with us. Chet, good morning.
Oh, brother, time for the Waterhouse update. Steve, I'm just going to launch right in.
Please.
Sponsored by AI. No, not artificial intelligence. Just an Italian guy thinking of an excuse. Hey, NFL news. Vikings rumored to be in talks to bring Aaron Rodgers to Minnesota. Just wanted to cause a couple of accidents on 35W. Myles Garrett signs with the Browns, Steve, for $150 million. That's like Herbie Hancock playing keyboards with Nickelback. But, okay. That item sponsored by OCDC, the most meticulous AC/DC cover band ever. Collages. No, wait, hang on. That's colleges. Oops. Duke has signed twin kindergartners from Charlotte whose height has already reached the deadbolt on their door jamb. Well, that's nice. For the first time in 2 decades, Steve, St. John's is going to make the big dance thanks to Rick Pitino's daily dose of baby cord blood from Sloan Kettering. That item sponsored by Incognito. You'd never guess we're plumbers. Finally, one Trump executive order we can all agree on. It's now illegal to run lacrosse highlights on SportsCenter. This week, folks, I'll be in Playa del Cartel, Mexico for the involuntary cliff diving championships. You'd be amazed, Steve, at how many somersaults a kid can do with a gun to his head. This is Chet Waterhouse reminding you to play with pain.
The involuntary cliff diving, a classic, a family favorite back in the old day. The Gorman family sitting around Wide World of Sports every Saturday. Oh, nothing better.
Sure.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I said something about having a weird, bizarre dream where I was chased by a tornado. True story. I've had that dream many times in my life. And it's always the same. Okay. I'm at my elementary school playground. I'm out there. I'm a kid. And then a tornado that's about 6 feet tall just starts chasing me. Nobody else.
You specifically.
Yes, it's there for me.
Suck up Steve Gorman.
It's just chasing. I don't know. It doesn't have the strength to suck me up, or at least I've not let it get close enough to do that.
Okay.
But I turn and run, and no one else is even bothered by this. No one's really noticing. And then I have the mud bog run where I can't quite run in my dream. It's beyond frustrating. It's also terrifying. And it's been a while since I've had it, but not that long. Now, I wish it had been like years and years and years. Probably been 6 months.
It feels like the dream only the youngest of 8 children could have, where there's a tornado that's coming directly for you that nobody else gives a crap about.
That could certainly be it. Being chased in a dream The most common dream, the most people, and every time they talk about, ask people about dreams, like 90% of people say they've had a dream where they've been chased. I would ask you, Ryder, but I'm fairly certain the answer is, I don't know.
I don't remember most of my dreams in heaven for a long time, but the recurring one that I did have as a younger person was being chased.
Oh, really?
And it was specifically by a hippopotamus. And
really?
I don't know what that means. Like people who think, oh, hippos are cute, like Fantasia, and they dance around in the valley. No, this is a vicious monster that is trying to bite me in half and eat my guts.
That's exactly what he would do if given the chance.
Yeah.
On land or sea.
I am tasty.
They're very fast swimmers.
Grass-fed, yeah.
Have you ever seen the video of the guy in the boat and the hippo's chasing him? It's like it pops up on like Instagram reels like every couple weeks, and every time I watch it and just think, man, that thing
acts like this is an everyday occurrence, and it's some kind of joke, and him and his buddy on the boat are just laughing.
A lot of dreams, I think, teeth falling out, a dream where you're in school taking a test. There's so many dreams that a lot of us have had. I think they're all generally your brain processing just anxiety, and it just comes out in that form. You go to sleep, your subconscious brain turns into Steven Spielberg, and you're making these movies about, you're just trying to process your central nervous system's dealing with all these emotions that you don't have time in a day to actually process. And so that's how I interpret all this stuff. When I'm having these really stressful dreams, I'm generally having a stressful time in life. They go hand in hand.
Have you had work nightmares?
I've had work nightmares, not about radio, but drumming dreams constantly.
What's the drumming dream, and is it common to other drummers? Do you know?
This is very. I've talked to other drummers who've had this situation. I'm at a show. It's not my gig. I'm like sitting in with a band.
Okay.
And sometimes it gets incredibly specific, like. I'm at a gig and it's like, hey, you want to go play Radio Free Europe with REM? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yes.
Or it's like, do you want to go play Elizabeth Reed with the Allman Brothers Band? I mean, it's like that specific,
okay.
and it's not a dream where it's like a David Lynch film. It just seems linear and normal, real life.
Okay.
And I go sit at a drum kit and it's set up like by a crazy person. Like I can't reach any of the cymbals or the drums, and the seat is wobbling, and I'm shaking, and I'm trying to play, and everyone's looking at me like, dude, get it together. And I'm like, look at this drum kit. It makes no sense. And those go on for what feels like hours and hours. So my drum anxiety dreams are that. It's all about the drum kit. That's a common thing with other drummers. The other one I have, and I have this one pretty regularly, is I'm in a dressing room. I'm about to go out and play a show. Mm-hmm. Almost always, it involves the Black Crowes, a band that I left and that I haven't played with since 2014. So it's a long time.
Yeah, 11 years.
And I'm like in the dressing room, and it's with and this is what's happening. I'm going, how did I get here? Why am I? What the hell's going on? But then I have to act like I know what's going on. I'm like, this is so weird. I can't believe I'm doing this. And then I'm holding a set list, and I know none of the songs.
Oh, no.
And everyone's normal around. They're like, all right, let's go. Let's get to it. And we're like walking to the stage, and I'm like, and I'm asking people, how does this start? What is this song? Just hum it to me. So I have, and then I never get to the stage in those. That's usually I wake up, and I'm like, oh, my God. And I don't know what's worse, being back in the Black Crowes or not knowing the songs. It's both. That's a pretty common one for me. Those two. I mean, the drumming dreams. I've never had a drumming dream where it just goes great.
Really?
Never.
Oh,
never.
Man, that kind of sucks. But you've had so many times in real life where it just goes great. Yeah. Maybe your brain is like, he doesn't need to worry about this when he's sleeping.
No, I think that's probably it. But there's the common one of you're in public and you're naked. I don't remember ever having that one.
Yeah, never been a naked running in down the street or anything like that.
The teeth falling out many, many times. And I've heard a lot of different reasons for what people think that means.
Really?
Like you're going through a period of growth, so you're like leaving figurative baby teeth. Like in your real life, you're evolving or changing or learning, and it's like your baby teeth are falling out. I generally just wake up and think, oh my God, I have scurvy. And I just go get an orange and pray for the best.
Okay, good.
That's pretty much, I go real linear on that one.
So you mentioned the tornado dream. Any other weather-related dreams?
That's the only one that I think.
Single tornado.
I think so.
You.
Yeah. It's my own personal Jesus, as I like to call it. The one recurring dream I used to have, and I had it for several years, and it was very specific, and it was almost identical every time. And then When I dropped out of college and moved to Atlanta and got into a band, I never had this dream again. But I had it many times, and I told people about it. And the dream was always the same. I'm at my high school, and I'm walking down the hallway, and it looks just like my actual school looked. And I can fly like super, just fly.
Okay.
Calm, not fast, but I just start flying through the hallways. And every time I'm like, man, this is awesome. I got to go to the gym, much higher ceiling.
Yes.
Big
good
room.
Plan.
I go into the gym. I push through the doors to walk into to go into the gym. I sort of hover in, and then I'm flying at the ceiling level of the gym. And there's a basketball game happening, and at half court there's a band playing. Like the game is going around a band.
Nice.
And so I'm watching a basketball game, and I'm looking at that drum kit and a band playing. And I'm like this, and I'm just kind of circling, and people in the bleachers are looking at me, and I'm like, "What's up?" And they're like, "Hey." and then I'm like, "I got to go outside. I've got to go outside." This is the exact same thing every time. I land, at the exit door of the gym. I push through the door. I step outside. The door shuts behind me, and I can't fly.
No!
And the door's locked.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. I look up, and I'm like, what? And I turn, and I pull the doors, and they're locked. And I'm standing there. No ability to fly outdoors, only indoors.
That's a terrible walk of the shame.
It's terrible.
Having to go back to the gym.
And then I dropped out of school and got a drum kit, and I never had that dream again. I think I was feeling I was just feeling locked down. I was a prisoner of my own fear.
Yes.
If you will.
Yeah, for sure.
I diagnosed myself, Dr. Freud. Thank you very much for that.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Thanks for listening to this special episode of the KQ Morning Show podcast. On the day the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations came out, and Billy Idol and our own Steve Gorman learned they're both being considered for inductions this year. Steve talked to Billy about Billy's motorcycle making it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame first, growing up in the punk scene in London, and his brand new single, Still Dancing.
How you doing, man? You look great.
Cheers, thanks. And yeah, not bad.
And you sound great. I love the new song.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
And I just noticed today, nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Yes, it's really, really an amazing honor. Yes, I was very, really surprised. Wow.
I'll share with you that I too was nominated as a member of the Black Crowes.
Yes,
so
that's right. Yeah,
it's a good day for both.
too.
It's a good day for both of us. When I saw your name on the list, my first thought was, when I first heard about a band called Generation X, if you had said there's going to be a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day, I said, no way a punk band from England is going to be a part of that. And now look at you all these years later.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could never have imagined things like this. I mean, we were doing it purely for the love, and we thought maybe it might last 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years at the most.
Yeah.
It's purely, purely for the love. And then it's nearly 50 years next year. So pretty wild that you can live your dreams, really. That's pretty exciting.
I think that explains exactly why you're still here, because that's what it was all about. And along the way, you end up having to make a business decision here or there, but nobody jumps into the game thinking about contracts and lawyers.
Yeah, no, not really. I don't think so. I think if you do, it's probably the wrong way to come at it. I think you have to come at it from a bit of a pure place, because then whatever happens is incredible, But if you sort of, that's how we went into it anyway. It was purely for the love. We were never imagining anything would happen, really. It was, punk rock and everything. It was just to do it, really. And there was only a few other people into it, and then kaboom. Then it went mega in England, and we are a million years later.
Yeah, you got about 10 years on me. So I was a kid the first time I started seeing punk. You know what I mean? Like I grew up with rock and roll. There was never a time when that was. I was born in '65, so I knew rock and roll from day one. But punk was, I remember punk to me, I thought this must have been like when kids first saw the Beatles in the '60s. That was like this awakening of something new, and it's not for the older generations. I've always imagined, and maybe I'm over romanticizing it, but that scene in London at that time had to have been like just being plugged into a socket.
Yeah, it was really like that. I mean, it was really exciting because all around us, there was the other groups coming up with their music, The Clash with theirs, Sex Pistols, Buzzcocks, Susan the Banshees, whoever it was. And then we were kind of replying with ours. It was so exciting just all the music that was happening, all the young people sort of coming out of the woodwork and expressing themselves and saying how they felt, and that it was magic. Really, it was really good fun.
The new record, Dream Into It, is this the most of all the music you've created? Is this the most sort of autobiographical? Have you ever written this much music about looking back and trying to make sense of the whole journey, or is this really the first time you've done that?
Well, no, I mean, we were making a documentary at the sort of beginning of the COVID, and which kind of was on and off because of the COVID, and we only just sort of started finishing it really. But that made me really think about my life. I'm at a vantage point that I've never been at before. You know, being 69, I'm really at a vantage point where you can really see the landscape of your life, and then and then doing the documentary as well, it just was easy to bounce off that and then start writing songs about these different sort of times in your life, like say the punk rock era or me coming to America, and the various things that happened along the way, and then putting the album in that order as well. That's the other thing. We sort of did it in chronological order, so it tells a story. It doesn't, the usual thing in the old days, you always sort of put it like a hit single first and then the next best song second. It really does. We sort of, deliberately made, the song selection tells the story of my life. Bookended by one of the bookends is Still Dancing, and which kind of tells my whole story in one song as well. So it's the best way to kick off the first song from the album.
It's fantastic. Steve Stevens, how many years is it now, the two of you?
Yeah, it's 40. It's over 40 something. It's 45 or something. Yeah, 81. So
that's really incredible. I think anybody that knows you and follows you knows the significance of that relationship. But with the name Billy Idol, I think there are fans who've probably missed the fact that it's been a two-headed monster for a really long time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Steve's the man behind the man. That's the whole thing. I mean, because anything I want to do, he can play it. And that's the other great thing about this new album. There's every Steve Stevens is there. You know what I mean? The flamenco Steve is there. The hard rocking Steve, the punk rock Steve. It's all there. And that's the other exciting thing about it, is just seeing all that, seeing what we've sort of created over all this time, and then being able to sort of put it all together in one album. Is really exciting.
Billy, I'm looking at a tour that starts end of April and goes all the way through September. How different is the regimen these days from the 80s as far as keeping you going day to day on tour?
Yeah, it was quite radically different.
Yeah.
The great thing is today I can hear myself, with the in-ear technology. In the old days, I could never hear myself. So you sort of like tended to think, F it, who cares? But, today I can hear myself. So ever since the sort of late 90s, I've sort of been going on stage, not messed up or anything, and, taking it seriously, really. And I've really been enjoying it, and that's the thing. That's the great thing. So it is very different from the 80s, but I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think where we are, we really love what we're doing, and you want to just nail it every night. You don't want to be up there blowing it. You want to be nailing it, because we can. We still can. Yeah. It.
I saw a clip from last year. It was an acoustic performance, just the two of you, and I was really struck by your vocal performance. There was more, and what I thought was, he must be so happy to not be screaming over a band right now. And it just, there was a lot more to your voice than I had heard. I've seen you live, but it's been years and years. And I just thought, man, and it's still all there. I mean, it was just really, it was rewarding to watch that and hear you sound like that, and to hear Steve playing like he plays. I was actually surprised at how much it I got really happy and excited about it.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I hope that's the feeling everybody gets, really. I mean, that's the exciting thing. That's the other thing I couldn't have imagined too. You over time, your voice grows, it changes, you work it, and you're developing your instrument. That's the other thing I've sort of discovered over time, is that I could go a long way with my voice after all. which I don't know. I don't know if I could really even sing when I started out. Really, I was just making a squeaky noise, and then over time I developed something, and that's been fun to see that.
Yeah, it's well, this is really sad. As I said, I've just heard the one song, the first single, and it's I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this. I mean, it's new and it's instantly familiar. Your voice, you've become that. You have one of those voices. The second anybody hears it, they know exactly what that is, and it's
that's one of the lucky things too. Is as a singer, you want to be recognized, because recognizable. So many people there's so many great singers, but you can't recognize them. So I'm really lucky that it's pretty instant. You can, I don't know, there's touchstone things about my voice that you can recognize immediately.
So when you were a kid, did rock and roll or punk, did you get pulled in by the idea of, I think you just wanted to be in a band, you wanted to do it? Or were there certain singers that you saw as like North Stars, like that's my guy, or that's someone I'm kind of emulating? Who were those first singers?
Well, I loved people like John Lennon, I just thought I loved people like him, and just all the different people that you grew up listening to, Ozzy or anybody, there was always something about them that you got, you took something from everybody. And also too, you found out what you could do, and that was the other thing. You sort of listened to them, but then you found out, oh, I can apply that to me because, but there again, I can't sing as high up as John Lennon or anybody like that. So I had to find a sort of a mid place, but then it gave me a sound of my own, so that's the thing you find out, that you couldn't imagine,
Sure. When I saw the list of nominees for the Rock Hall of Fame this morning, the first, and I was on the air doing a morning show and we saw it. And the first thing I saw and said was, I said Billy Idol and Joe Cocker. And I said, wait, how are they not already there? Like, it just seems so crazy, that two singers like that. But Joe's another one of those guys that, and like I said, you hear him, you just know exactly what that is. And it was just a shock for a second to think that you and he were not already in there. So hopefully both those things get straightened out this year.
Yeah.
Have you thought about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame very much? Is it something that you had in the back of your head, like that'd be nice one day? I know a lot of people, I've said it in the past, whatever, if it happens, cool. But I can't believe I can speak from my own experience today too. But when I saw the band's name, I got really excited. I was like, man, that's really great. How'd you feel?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was really knocked out, really honored. I mean, I was just there inducting Ozzy in his solo career. So the whole vibe was fantastic. And so the idea that I might, my motorcycle's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, my motorcycle Bone Shaker's already in there. So so if I could join as well, that'd be fantastic. But it's just kind of incredible. And the thing about the night is you really get a chance to say thanks to your fans. Stuck with you through thick and thin. And so that's a big moment that you really get to thank people for really sticking by you. And because so many different people have sort of created me, really. It's not just me on my own.
Of course.
So many different people that you really get a chance to thank.
Yeah, that really is. I think the one thing that I enjoy about that show every year, like you said, you see the gratitude and you recognize, the average guy walking down the street has no idea how many people have played a part, one decision or 1,000 decisions, but they all add up to you being who you are now and having done all this. And so I hope you get in, because I'd love to watch you do that. And I'd love to hear you up there. And I think it's awesome. And especially with a new record that sounds this vibrant, I think there's no reason to think it's not going to happen, man.
That's the other great thing we've got this really great record. And I think if the two things combining would just be what a year it would be,
Great. Well, Billy, hey man, it's a real pleasure. Sorry again for being late. Had to grab the young lad. I got a dog. I got a dog who takes advantage of his opportunities when he sees them.
That's us.
And it's right. That's right. So it's awesome to see you and talk to you, man. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.